losers, cool beans, and other lovable weirdos, and welcome to another horror game I'm very excited about. This is one of the came out this year and I haven't got around to yet, but I'm quite excited about. We're going to be checking out Mycorrhiza. Full disclaimer, I did get a key for this through keymailer. I'm not going to pretend I've dived deep into the world of horror manga. Haven't. I've stumbled across some of the probably bigger, more popular ones on the internet. Junji Ito's lovely one where everyone has their own hole and it's very creepy definitely lives rent-free in my brain. And one day I'll remember the name of it without Googling, but today is not that day. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Maybe it'll be like the beginning of my rabbit hole deep dive into this. Let's check out this world of distorted minds. Play in a dark room and wear headphones for the best experience. Can I turn my ring light lower? Yes, I can. Before you get into the game, there are a few things you might want to know. Or not. It's your choice. One thing that should be noted is that you can play through the upcoming doors in any order. You don't need to play them left to right. Some audio events in this game will also make use of stereo effects. Thus, it's best to enjoy the game with headphones. The rest should be pretty self-explanatory. Don't disappoint her. Mycorrhiza. Door. Okay, the tutorial was basically what all the sort of key shortcuts and visual novel text related features, a little reminder of their settings for accessibility, and headphones. Well, let's not disappoint her. Welcome to a world of distorted minds. I feel welcome already. Totally what they're going for, right? My eyes were burning. It felt like hot coals were lying on my eyelids. Ooh. To be fair though, considering it's cold and wintry, I'm also like, maybe not on my eyelids, but could I keep my eyelids nearby some hot coals? Not the point, I know. I slowly opened them and attempted to heave myself up from the cold asphalt. But I failed. My whole body was heavy, and my head felt like it was being squashed by a hydraulic press. That is a pressing issue. After a few attempts, I finally succeeded and tried to make out where I was. By any chance are you on a road? Perhaps near your house? The fog in my mind lifted slowly, and I realized that I was in a dark alleyway. Ah, a classic dark alleyway. Okay. My vision was still blurry, and I had trouble keeping my eyes open, but I could tell that I had never seen this place before. Slowly, my heart began to race. Was I abducted? Mugged? What had happened to me? I hastily checked my body, fortunately finding no wounds. Why was I feeling this weak then? Maybe I was drugged. As I tried to recall what might have happened to me, my eyes finally focused. I could see a house in front of me. It was the only house on the street with its lights on. How convenient. The dirty yellow glow shone through almost every single visible window. I felt some relief knowing that the tenants were awake. Perhaps they could tell me where I was. I'm sure they'll tell us lots of things. I approached the front door. It took me some searching to find the doorbell through the overgrown ivy. Ooh. A deep gong rang out from within the house when I pressed it. The sound, amplified by the cold wind cutting through my shirt, made me tense up. What an odd choice for a doorbell sound, I thought, while rubbing my upper arms to warm myself. I'm sorry, this is just sounding more and more like, yep, I went outside in winter. I waited. No one answered. My mind twisted in confusion. Why was no one coming? I mean, there could be many reasons, but I get it. You'd like someone to come help you. I rang the doorbell again. Then I tried knocking. No response. No one was coming. I didn't understand. Did they forget to turn off the lights and go on vacation? I mean, they could also be ignoring the door. They could be a horror game scenario, but or maybe they left the lights on while they ran down the street to I don't know, go to the corner shop, visit their neighbor. There are options, As a last resort, I tried turning the doorknob, and it actually opened. This worried me. Did something happen to the family living here? Okay, now you're thinking like someone who knows they might be in a horrible situation. Well, I say this like they didn't just wake up in a dark alleyway being like, how'd I get here? They already know they've been in a bad situation, but they know they could be going into another one. Perhaps I should find a phone and call the police. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the street. My heart started to pound as my body tensed up. I wanted to dash into the house, but my feet refused to move. What was that sound? Was someone out here? Pictures of otherworldly monsters and armed kidnappers popped into my mind as my eyes scanned the darkness. The world was silent once more. I was still on edge, but my body slowly started to relax as I regained my composure. I decided I didn't want to find out what that was. Cautiously, I stepped through the threshold and firmly closed the door behind me. I entered a dimly lit hallway. The contours of minimalist furniture were illuminated by the streetlights outside. I felt an immediate lurch of guilt as I was trespassing into a stranger's home. Somehow I don't think they'll mind. Scott. Okay, so we're called Scott. Hello, is anyone here? No answer. The house was eerily quiet. I cautiously ventured further down the front hall and stopped in front of one of the doors. A dim yellow light seeped silently through the bottom crack. I turned the knob. Locked. Then the next one. Also locked. They all seemed to be. I frowned. Why were the lights behind these locked doors lit? It gave me an uneasy feeling. The door at the very end of the hall was the only one that I hadn't tried yet. I grasped its handle and turned it slowly. It swung open to complete darkness. Once again, my body tensed up while my mind started to conjure horrific images. A beast with dislocated limbs and crooked teeth creeping towards me from the darkness. A floor littered with corpses and walls stained with blood. A giant spider sitting in a corner, waiting for its chance to strike. My hands shook as I reached to flick on the light. Oh my god, it's a bat! It was an utterly ordinary bedroom. Ah! My heartbeat slowly calmed down as I realized that I seemed to be safe. It's okay, Scott. The dark will do that to you, buddy, Because you don't know. It could be an ordinary bed in a bedroom, or it could be, Cerberus wanting to play fetch with you as the stick. I felt almost silly getting scared of nothing. A quick search yielded nothing but barren, dusty shelves. The bed was the only meaningful object present. Slowly but surely, a wave of fatigue washed over me. Scott, no. Scott, no. With my adrenaline rush fading away, I found that I was more exhausted than I had realized. Like a worm wiggling its way into an apple, a single thought slowly invaded my mind. I had to sleep. Trying to fight it made it worse, as if some outside power was affecting me. Imagine that. Sleeping in a stranger's bed, in a stranger's home, was the last thing I wanted to do right now. Yeah, our name is Scott, not Goldilocks. But it was soon the only thing I could think about as my consciousness faded. I had to sleep. The world turned dark, and the soft covers of the bed pulled me deeper and deeper into the black abyss. Ooh. We got hands. That's a head. Nice. Pepper! The game's too distorted for itself. I am intrigued. This door seems to have scratch marks, and this door seems to have like little fingerprints here. Don't notice anything immediately noticeable about this door. I'm thinking I'm gonna go right, left, and then middle. So let's check out what's behind. Totally not anything peering sideways at a door. Door. Oh, so many hands. Oh. I got those like hallway of hands vibes. Trapped. Ooh. I'm getting shivers, and I'm sure they're only 90% because I'm cold. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. A nightmare. Seems like I just had a nightmare. I couldn't remember it anymore, but it must have been horrifying. Chills were still running down my spine. It was just a dream, just a nightmare. Nothing more. Oh yeah, sure, nothing more. Nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. But what I saw when I opened the bedroom door was not what I had expected. Are we in a different place now? Oh. Instead of the living room I had entered the bedroom through, I found myself in the middle of a long hallway. A row of doors, interspersed with handrails, covered each wall. I could hear people chatting in the distance. Where was I? And how did I get here? This place looked like a hotel at first glance. A plate with a room number was hanging next to all the doors. Mine was 215. As I moved towards the end of the hallway, I took a more thorough look at my surroundings. The floor was lined with a red carpet featuring an elaborate design. The red and white walls complemented the elegant atmosphere. On the ceiling hung electrical lamps that were similar in design to candles. Ooh. As I stepped out of the hallway, I was momentarily blinded by the bright ambience. A huge chandelier was hanging on the ceiling of the grand hall I had stepped into. You know this room's huge when that is a huge chandelier and it already looks kind of small. I seemed to be on the upper floor of this two-floor structure. The ground floor, apparently a restaurant area, was lined with tables. Multiple people were dining and happily chatting with each other. A huge window across from me showed a big body of water. And judging by that, I think we're on a boat. Was I in a hotel by the beach? The water looked oddly close. I needed answers. Quickly, I located the stairs and hurried down towards the restaurant. Luckily, one of the waiters was just passing by as I reached the bottom. "Excuse me, could you tell me where I am?" He answered without hesitation. "You're in the restaurant area, sir. If you'd like to order something, you need to—" No, I'm in this whole hotel." This time he did hesitate. "Well, you're on the Keymailer cruise ship, if that's what you mean. Is everything in order?" "Cruise ship? How did I get on a cruise ship? Had I been kidnapped?" All I'm saying is I watched precisely one YouTube video about a certain cruise ship owned by certain totally not cults that has totally nothing fishy going on about it. That this is just like, Would my kidnappers let me walk around freely? I mean, you're on a boat. Where are you gonna go? The waiter had a concerned look on his face. He glanced over at his colleague, who had gestured to him with a stern expression on her face. "I could call someone over to help you. Or you could find someone at the help desk just at the end of that hallway." He gestured back up the stairs and pointed at another hallway next to the one I had come out of. "Thank you. I'll just ask for more information at the help desk." Which I'm sure is just what they want. I didn't want to hold him up any longer. The waiter's colleague had by now crossed her arms in front of her chest and was tapping her foot impatiently. I don't know if that's because we're holding him up or because he might make us suspicious, though. The waiter hesitantly nodded and turned away from me. A cruise ship? I didn't remember ever booking a ticket for a cruise. But as I rummaged through my pockets, I did find a key card with the number 215 on it. Right, the help desk. I should be able to find out more there. I made my way back up the stairs. The room at the end of the second hallway looked like a lounge area. It was filled with comfortable sofas and armchairs. Multiple groups of people were chatting to each other. I could see children playing near what I assumed to be the help desk. "May I help you?" I quickly approached the man standing at the help desk, who perked up from the documents he was browsing. "Hi, how can I help you?" "I'm a bit lost. Well, I don't really remember booking a cruise. Is there a way to get off early?" He looked at me with a similarly puzzled expression as the waiter. Could you tell me your room number?" "Yes, it's 215, but I don't really remember booking it." I took out my key card and showed it to him. The man opened a drawer and started expertly flipping through the folders. Shortly after, he pulled out a document. "Is this your name and signature?" He turned it so that I could see it. To my surprise, the name and the signature written on it were indeed mine. But how? How could I forget signing up for a cruise? As for your second question, we're currently on the last day of our trip. The ship will arrive at the Keymailer port tomorrow at noon. Are you here with anyone? He threw a skeptical look my way. I must have sounded like a weirdo. "No, I'm alone. I'll just sort things out tomorrow, then." The employee shrugged and put the folder back into the drawer. "Don't hesitate to let me know if you need any more help." I turned around, wondering what my next course of action should be, when... Ow! Something had hit one of my legs hard. I stumbled, but managed to stop my fall by holding onto the help desk. Very helpful, that help desk. Oh God, are you okay? Lanny, you need to pay more attention. I looked up to see what had hit me. Initially, I had assumed that I had walked into some piece of furniture, but that wasn't the case. A boy was sitting on the ground in front of me. Someone was standing over him, making sure that he was all right. As soon as she had confirmed that he wasn't hurt, she turned to me. I'm very sorry about that. Are you hurt anywhere? Lanny, make sure to apologize. Sorry, I wasn't looking. No, it's all right. I'm okay. I turned to the boy named Lanny. Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing. His look was fixed to the ground. It seemed like he really did feel bad about bumping into me. The woman had in the meanwhile fixed her gaze onto my face. Are you sure you're all right? You look rather pale. No, I'm fine. That didn't seem to convince her. My confusion and frustration about being on this boat had shown on my face. Would you like to sit down with us for a bit? I have some medicine against seasickness. It might help. Now that she was mentioning it, I was feeling a bit woozy. I had been too preoccupied with figuring out what was going on to notice. She led me to one of the sofas and motioned me to sit down. My name is Sabrina, by the way. This boy here is Lanny, and the girl over there is Amy. Amy seems very focused. She motioned to a girl sitting at a nearby table who was brooding over a piece of paper. My name is Scott. So, are they your family? Sabrina stopped rummaging through her handbag and looked at me with an amused smile on her face. Oh no, they are my neighbor's kids. We're good friends and I paint with their children sometimes. I'm currently looking after them. While Sabrina was still looking for the medicine, Lanny approached his sister and peered over her shoulder. He then grimaced and walked over to our sofa to take a seat next to Sabrina. If that doesn't confirm that she's working on an absolute masterpiece. Here you go. She handed me a pill from a small bottle. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw Lanny motion to Amy. I don't get how she can be so into drawing. It's boring. She's been at it for at least half an hour and it still looks terrible. Man, everybody's a critic. Hey, I heard that. Amy shot an angry gaze at Lanny. Good art needs time. Maybe you should work on some art as well. Yeah, maybe it would help with your hyperactivity. I'm not hyperactive. I'm just healthy. That's what Dad says. I guess so. If I had any ounce of knowledge about music, I could help you relieve your energy that way at least. Though it's also been a while since my art. Sabrina trailed off with a sad look on her face. Don't worry, it's okay. I've been figuring things out on my own. Also, I've been asking Dad and Mom if they can buy me a melodica. I'm pretty sure that I'll get one soon. You two really seem to have a knack for art and music. Your parents must be proud of you. I don't know about Amy, but I'm pretty sure they're proud of me. Siblings, man. Siblings. Amy shot another angry glance Lanny's way, but didn't retort. She seemed to be the mature one in their sibling relationship. Hey, do you have any more of those pills? I jumped slightly. A voice had called out from right behind me. As I turned around, I saw a grumpy-looking man. Sabrina grabbed her handbag once again. Another one, Frederick? It says on the package that one should be enough. Apparently not. I can't work while feeling like crap. Why did I agree to go on this trip? Sabrina gave him a skeptical look, but handed him a pill without saying anything. Frederick turned around on the spot and trotted off. Sabrina sighed. Sorry about that. He's usually more pleasant. The seasickness must be getting to him. That, coupled with an upcoming deadline for an article. So he's a journalist? No, that's not what I meant. He's a biologist, and he's been working hard on getting something published in that one magazine. If you ask me, his obsession with getting more publications is a bit unhealthy. A fellow scientist? Now that I thought about it, I haven't written anything in a while myself. Way more pressing matters have taken up my time recently. Yeah, like cruise ships. The spores were still. Oh, I jolted up. Sabrina looked at me in surprise. Thank you for the medicine. I feel better now. I should get going, though. I was too anxious to sit still, even though I knew that there was nothing I could do until the ship came into port the next day. Okay, I feel like this is the first clue towards whatever's going on. I know the name of the game references to a relationship between like plant roots and fungi. Spores. Is this science gone wrong nightmares? Is this what this is gonna be? Alright, take care. Feel free to let me know if you need any more medicine. I thanked her again, said goodbye to the siblings, and headed back towards the sleeping quarters. But I stopped just before the hallway that led to my room. My eyes wandered towards the big window. The sun had started to set, but I didn't feel tired at all. Likely because I had woken up just recently. Yes. And I dare say, you might even be awake past sunset, regardless. And so I decided that the best way to dispel some of my anxiety was to take in some fresh air. I continued on past the hallway and out onto the deck. A salty breeze hit my face. I could hear the soft splashing of waves against the hull of the ship. This place was way emptier than I had expected. Less than a handful of couples and some families were standing near the edge of the railing. One of those couples had their dog with them. Oh, a pupper. Every now and then, when it heard the call of a seagull, it jerked its head around. Were one of the pairs on this deck perhaps Amy and Lanny's parents? Absent-mindedly, I approached the railing right by the door and looked over. We were very high up. Looking down at the waves hitting the ship hull had an eerily hypnotic effect. Combined with the cool air and the sound of water, it calmed me down. Hey! I jerked up. Someone was standing at the railing right next to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you. No worries, it's okay. It looked like she had been standing there for a while. Did I somehow overlook her? You looked a bit confused, so I wanted to ask if you're all right. Oh, well, I guess I'm a bit lost. I had a feeling she'd be no more understanding than the employees, so I decided not to tell her too much. I don't know, I have a feeling she might know more than most. I'm a bit lost too. It might sound weird, but I'm not sure how I ended up here. Ooh. Wait, that sounded oddly familiar to my situation, but she seemed to misinterpret my surprised look. I know, it sounds odd. It's just like in dreams. Whenever you try to remember how you got to the place you were dreaming about, you can't. So I wasn't the only one. There was someone else here who was experiencing the same thing I was. Okay, but is this a, this happens to other people genuine thing, or is this a, she's like behind all this and is just like pretending to be like, oh yes, it happened to me too. I'm not saying Squid Game gave me trust issues. Knowing this lifted my spirits. Just as I was about to tell her about my situation, she suddenly perked up. Sorry, I should go. I promised to meet someone. And with that, she hurried off before I could say anything. I was slightly frustrated by the fact that I hadn't been able to confide in her. But I could seek her out tomorrow, I guess. The sun had meanwhile almost set. A blood-red stripe was visible on the horizon. I set off back towards my room. With nothing better to do, I got into bed and tried to sleep. My night was restless. Half of the time I wasn't sure if I was awake or asleep. Weird sounds kept waking me up. But that is where we end it. You'll have to tune in next time to see how things go the next day. Thank you for watching. Feel free to check out my channel for a variety of horror and horror-adjacent content. And I hope you're having a better day than our poor amnesia, possibly mugged, strange occurring things happening character Scott. Goodbye!